Welcome to the Catamount Football Show with Coach Matt Land. I'm Bill Mayo, and this week we're going to take a look back at last Friday night's game with the River Ridge Knights and also talk about the upcoming contest with the South Cobb Eagles. So stay right here, back with more Catamount football after these messages.
I was tired of being limited by my knee pain.
I fell while riding my bike and needed a partial hip replacement.
I was kicking the ball and I felt a snap.
From joint replacements to complex spinal surgeries, Hamilton Medical Center's experts know how to get you back in the game. Quality and expertise matter. Hamilton Medical Center is Joint Commission certified in hip, knee, and shoulder replacement surgery. If pain is keeping you on the sidelines, get your life back with the help of Hamilton Medical Center.
We're back with Sandy, and on the outside, everything is beautiful. But on the inside, it's a mess. You're not fooling me. In our audience today, I have professionals from Carpet Express, Susie and Clay. They've helped thousands of others just like you with their problems on the inside. Will you accept their help today?
Yes. Yes, I do.
If you need help on the inside, call Carpet Express, because it's what's on the inside that counts.
All right, Coach, first and foremost, it's nice to get off the schneid, isn't it? And
yeah, no doubt, man.
Get a win after three tough weeks.
Absolutely. I have family that'll talk to me again now. No, just play it. Yeah, it is. It's very good. You know, the guys worked hard this week, kept their focus. We continue to talk about the things that is important. As we talked about last week and kind of went in a little bit more detail, talked about just those little things that we needed to continue to do. Certainly protect the ball. Only had one turnover, so we improved there. Second of all, penalties. We were back to what I'd call average. We were less than 6 penalties, so we needed to do that. So I was very proud of that action. And then third was just really a complete game from both sides, offensively and defensively. We talked about in the scouting report last week that yes, this is a team that the record was not that good, but they did some things that really presented a challenge. One is, where do you find film on the Notre Dame box other than like watching the 36 Packers or something, right? So, you know, we didn't really have anything to go off of. Secondly, defense, they ran a few things that we had not seen, but then we ended up going to something that we'd not seen either. So at the end of the day, very proud of how these guys adjusted on the field. We made a lot of adjustments on the sidelines. And at the end of the day, just, you know, really felt like they kept their head, faced the adversity, overcame it, and stayed within the game plan.
I think one of the things that you watched them on offense, and I hadn't watched much of their offensive film prior to the game, but they did a really nice job of hiding the football and disguising where they were going. That one touchdown pass they threw, the quarterback really did a good job of faking and made everybody think the ball was going to the right, and all of a sudden he bootlegs out to the left and finds the receiver. Yeah,
well, and Coach Wynn, I was talking to him before the game, and he made a great point. He said, you know, last year we lost our quarterback the 7th game of the year. And he said when that happened, we really didn't have a second-string quarterback that could even really throw. So he said we began to experiment with this offense last year. He said the last 3 games wound up being 3 of our more productive games, and we played against some pretty good teams. So it wasn't like it was just something. So we spent the off season. We had the same scenario. Still didn't have a good quarterback that could throw it. Got one now that can throw it enough, but really fits within what we do in this offense. He said it's different enough, it gives us a chance. And he said at the end of the day, that's all we can hope for. He said we just want a chance in the game. So I think he, you know, looking at the game, certainly think that we played as well as we could play, considering, you know, playing some new things and seeing some new things. Very, very proud though of our coaching staff. Thought we had, you know, nobody, you know, we stayed within the game plan and like I said, worked the guys hard last week and got better at those little things.
Real quick, offensively, got a lot of people involved. A lot of people touched the ball.
Absolutely.
Quite a few in the end zone, right? Four different, what was it? 4 different people.
Yeah, 4 different people. That's right. That's right. So, you know, you always want that, but we had some big plays, but we also sustained some drives, and I was very proud of that. From a defensive standpoint, a lot of people play on defense, and that's kind of what we need on defense. We need to be playing as many guys as we can to be sure that we're fresh in those last minutes of the game. Special teams was solid once again.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute.
Blue is big. You've got the deep blue sea, the big blue sky, and more people in more countries like blue than any other color. That's big. And in the world of real estate, blue stands for one of the biggest brands, Coldwell Banker. 91,000 agents across 47 countries gives you a super-powered Rolodex and the marketplace muscle of a brand recognized from Indiana to India. So join the blue, join Coldwell Banker, and start doing bigger, better, and bluer things in real estate.
Hi, I'm Dr. Reginald Sherrill. Are you tired of sweaty underarms and dealing with deodorant stains on your clothes? We're performing a procedure called Mirror Dry. It's safe, non-invasive, sweat and odor-free, deodorant-free. It is clinically proven and FDA approved. I've had the procedure and it really works. The procedure takes about 1 hour, it's local anesthesia, and works immediately. Call our office, Dalton Plastic Surgery, 706-226-3311. 706-226-3311.
It's football time again in Northwest Georgia. Not a lot has changed at the Oakwood Cafe since we filmed last season. We are still serving the same fantastic food we have for the past 13 years. Our staff is many of the familiar faces you consider family. Our catering department is the best in North Georgia, serving over 400 people daily. We love this community and we wake up 6 days a week looking forward to serving you your favorite Oakwood Cafe meal with a smile. Oakwood Cafe in historic downtown Dalton.
Back to Catamount Football, we've got our player interview segment. Guys, welcome to the show and introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Andrew Magana, senior, number 37, defensive back.
I'm Jaxon Wells, senior, number 46, outside linebacker.
All right, Jaxon, let's start with you. Tell me about being a senior this year.
It's been a long ride. It's been pretty enjoyable. A lot of ups and downs. I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah. So playing some outside linebacker, doing a good job. Kind of talk about Friday night a little bit. It was number one, it was nice to get back in the win column, correct?
Yes, sir. Feels good to get a win after back-to-back losses.
Back-to-back-to-back, unfortunately, right? Now, how about your role in the defense? Talk about that a little bit.
My role in the defense is I take out the blockers, whether it's a fullback or a pulling guard, that come to block the middle linebacker and the safety and lead the running back. I fly in there and try to take out as many of them as I can to free up guys like Lane and Gabe and our safeties to make the tackle.
How about dealing with some of those pulling guards? I mean, we see some pretty big guards in our league. Talk about those guys. What do you do to take them on? What kind of technique do you use? How do you battle those big bodies?
You just fly in there as hard as you can and hit them as low as you can. Make a big pile. That way they run into each other and nobody can block for the running back.
Now, I know you defensive guys like to rush the passer and get a sack. Talk to me about that.
I love it when they call the blitz, because especially if I'm on the backside and it's a right-handed quarterback, they never see it coming, hit them right in the back.
So what do you kind of sneak up and show it? Because offensive linemen they're looking for that. So how do you disguise what you're going to do, and so you can try to maybe get in there without somebody trying to block you?
Well, it depends on which call it is. If I'm blitzing outside, I like to get a little too far outside so the tackle or the tight end, like, they don't account for me in their blocking set or whatever they do. I like to get a little further outside if I'm going off the outside, but if they're inside, I like to come up like I'm about to blitz off outside and then come in behind the end. That way they drop outside and don't account for me coming.
Talk a little bit about River Ridge. It was if you weren't at the game, they ran a really unusual offense and did a lot of things designed to kind of hide the ball, overload, trying to get number advantages, how they lined up. Talk about you guys having to deal with that, because it was a lot of moving pieces with their offense, wasn't
there? Coach Carpenter really made it as simple as he could this week. We only had 2 or 3 adjustments. They didn't have a lot of blockers on the weak side, and they had a lot on the left side. So if they were running back to the weak side, you knew it, because everybody would come back the other way. So we only had 2 or 3 shifts that we had to do to line up our guys on their guys and get the numbers balanced out.
Yeah, and our coaches do a great job with helping us know what to do and get ourselves prepared for the next play.
So let's talk to you now, Andrew. So this is your first year with the team, right?
Yes.
So what made you decide that hey, I'm a senior, I'm going to come out, I'm going to play for the Catamounts?
Back in middle school, I had gotten into football, and then I saw it as like a family, and then I just gotten into other activities like marching band, and I just decided this year to switch it up for my senior year and try football.
So tell me, how has the switch been? How has it been kind of stepping out. You've been to school with these guys for a long time,
Yes,
but now becoming a part of the team. You came out in January, right, and started working. How has that transition been, and what do you think about it so far?
It was a great transition. I already knew everybody, so it wasn't any awkward like having to meet anybody new. It was just something new to try to learn how to play the position that I'm playing. But overall, being able to meet everybody again and get our pads on, it felt great.
So what was the biggest change for you coming back since you hadn't played since middle school? What was the biggest thing you've had to learn to adapt to since coming back out on the team?
Definitely it's the trying to go against people that are in our class, our 6A, because you don't remember how it feels like to get hit from back then.
So what was the first big hit you took was it spring practice? Or?
Yeah, spring practice when we were doing drills in the turf room one day when it rained.
Yeah. So what did you think? It's like, okay, that's what that's like.
Yeah, I was ready. I liked being able to get to hit somebody again.
So how was it running out on Harmon Field for that first home game against Ringgold, coming out wearing the red uniform? Talk to me about that experience. How did that feel? What was going through your mind as you were coming out through the band and through the helmet?
See, for 3 years I had seen it from the band perspective, and finally being able to be the one to run through, it was a whole different experience that I never want to give up.
Yeah. Something you always remember?
Yes, I will always remember it.
All right, awesome. Well, guys, thanks for coming on the show. You're doing a great job. Look forward to watching the rest of the season. Stay right here back with more Catamount football after these messages.
From the pros who know at Proformance Sports Academy. Our pro shop has one of the largest selections of bats, gloves, and cleats in the North Georgia area, featuring Rawlings, Wilson, Louisville Slugger, DeMarini, Mizuno, and the largest New Balance cleat dealer in the area. We provide baseball and softball gear for travel leagues, rec leagues, middle school, and high school programs. Get your baseball and softball training, equipment, and uniforms from the former collegiate and professional players who know at Proformance Sports Academy. ProformanceSportsAcademy.com.
All right, we're back to Catamount Football with the second portion of our player interview segment. Guys, welcome to the show, and introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Landon Allen. I'm a junior. I'm number 10, quarterback.
Marcus Simpson. I'm a senior, number 88. I'm a wide receiver.
All right, Marcus, let's start with you. Tell me about being a senior this year. Time goes fast, doesn't it?
Yeah. Being a senior is like, you look back on like all your time as a Dalton High Catamount, and like you start to realize like this is your last time.
What are some of the things you remember most? I mean, thinking back, whether it's middle school or high school, what are the things you reflect back on, and maybe a few of the things you remember the most?
Some of the players, like when I was a sophomore and junior, like the great friendships we made.
I think that's something that you hit on a great point there. You know, it's been 30-something years, almost 40 years since I was in high school, and still I have friends to this day that I played with. What do those relationships mean to you?
It's just like, it's more than a friendship. You become like brothers, and like you're really close to them.
When you go through the kind of things that you guys go through, talk about the time commitment. I mean, you guys are there. You know, if you're starting in January, you're in the weight room, you're doing kind of go through what all, give people a sense of how much time you do spend together.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time together. Like I see my football family more than my own family sometimes, and like they like you hang out with them outside of football, during football, of course, and like, you know, once January hits, it's time. You know, you're really just trying to be #1.
Get in the weight room, and then you guys are doing the whole 7-on-7 thing. Talk about that a little bit, because that's taken a life upon itself. The 7-on-7 stuff has.
During the summer, we have 7-on-7, and it's like different teams come, and you're playing them, and like that's when you really become a team. Like you're like receivers, we really become close, and we have to communicate to make sure we beat the team that we're playing.
Tell me about Friday night. Felt good to get back on the right track, correct?
Yeah, it was really good after all the losses we took. You know, we really just came together this time, and we went out and beat them.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right, quarterback, let's talk to you.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about, this is your first year in the program. So first off, tell me how has it been? How has the transition been? What's been the impression of you coming into the Dalton football family?
The transition is really big, a bigger stage, of course, and I mean, I like it a whole lot better. The competition is a whole lot better than where I was at, and it would make me a whole lot better at quarterback.
How about getting familiar with the guys on the team? How has that process been? You seem like you're fitting in really well with everybody. Talk about that, because you came into a situation, didn't really know anybody, correct?
Right.
And you've had to develop relationships with all these guys and get to know them, the receivers, the linemen, the defensive guys. Talk about that process.
Yes, sir. I mean, when I got here, like you said, I didn't really know anybody, but I mean, they took me in like a couple days right after I got here to talk to me, and I mean, we just started hanging out. Like he said, we're brothers now. I mean,
what's been the biggest adjustment football-wise for you?
Just the speed of the game. It's a whole lot faster. So, but I mean, I've gotten used to it, and a whole lot more room to get better.
Right. So I got to ask you a question about the galloping, whatever that thing was you did Friday night, that 30, 40, how long was it?
I think it was like 48 something.
48-yard run. So let's hear the play-by-play of it. Tell me what was going on.
I mean, I dropped back, and I looked to my right, and then I looked back to my left, and I saw a injury running the slant, and it just took the linebackers and his man all the way, and they shifted all the way to the right, and I just saw the open hole, and I was just took off.
So did you think you were going to make it the whole time, or you were thinking, oh boy, I better not get caught? What was going through your head as you were galloping down the field?
I thought I was going to make it. That's what I thought, and I did.
Yeah, you did.
Yes,
you did. It was a good play, big play, right?
Yes, sir.
So talk about the development of the passing game. I mean, you guys you're always working on different adjustments and reads and reading the defensive backs. Kind of go over that and where you feel you guys are right now, and you and the receivers.
I feel we're getting better every week, and that's the big thing. There's a whole lot more things to work on, but I think we're ready for the future and other teams we play.
It's always good to give the ball to #1, right?
Oh yeah.
Talk about playing with him.
It's great playing with him, knowing you got him beside you in the backfield.
He can go score from anywhere on the field.
Yes, sir.
All right. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. You're doing a good job. Keep working, and look forward to watching you the rest of the season.
Yes, sir.
Stay right here. We'll be back with more after these messages.
Hi, my name is Charles R. Hicks Sr. I'm the owner of Transformers Transmission and Complete Auto Repair Specialist. We have some exciting news. We are expanding to Sugar Road.
That's right, brother. We are building a brand new 30,000 square foot automotive repair facility to better serve our community.
Also want to let you know that we are still open at 815 East Walnut Avenue for all your automotive needs. From the Transformers crew,
thank you and God bless.
Home is a place where all are welcome. It's where the story begins. It's not a place, it's a feeling. Home is where the heart is. At Furniture of Dalton, we handpick each of our 150 brands so that you can find your perfect heart's desire. Come see what you've been missing at Carpets of Dalton and Furniture of Dalton, the destination that brings you home. Exit 328 off I-75.
The twins came sooner than expected.
The nurses cared for me and my baby.
I chose Hamilton because I trust my doctor.
Hamilton Medical Center is home to beautiful new arrivals every day. Each child and each delivery is unique. Hamilton is prepared with a Level 3 neonatal intensive care unit and comfortable rooms and amenities. Hamilton Medical Center, serving you and your family with compassion, healing, and excellence.
All right, we've got our coaches interview segment. Got Coach Jim Bennett on the show. Coach, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to kind of go off the rails here at the beginning with a question that I want you to talk about as opposed to some of your other football things. There's a lot of talk about the safety of the game and what's going on. What have you seen as far as changes to equipment and things that you would tell young parents who are maybe a little concerned about their kids playing football and about the quality of the equipment and things going on and all the factors that go into having a safe game?
You know, you ask me that every time I'm on.
No, I don't. Yeah, I ask you how it's changed. I don't ask you about the safety.
Safety aspect, because of all the publicity that concussions have gotten, the helmet issue has become a very big thing, and we're seeing more and more kids going out and buying their own helmets because they don't necessarily think not what we provide is not good, but the parents want to be more protective. All the helmets that we're using are 5-star rated, which is a system that Virginia Tech came up with several years ago. And there's products on the market now. There's a company out of Oregon that they're selling a helmet that's about a $1,500 helmet. And I don't know if it's any better,
right?
But you know, I keep telling folks if there was one helmet that was the best, then you would see everybody in the NFL wearing that one helmet. And right now, there's not. It just depends on how the helmet fits, and as long as it's a 5-star rate. Schutt and Riddell, both of the big helmet manufacturers, and both of them have excellent products on the market. A lot of folks are interested in the Flex helmet that Riddell makes. But what they don't realize is all these guys are wearing Riddell helmets. Well, they've got a contract with Riddell,
right?
Okay, and they get kicked back for wearing that helmet. And unfortunately, we don't have contracts. So we try to put the best helmet we can on our kids. And you know, as far as safety factors go, like I said, they're all 5-star rated. And that I guess just the awareness of it. And then the rules are changing too to try to make the game safer.
Well, you mentioned the NFL. One of the things that they've been out promoting is the heads-up program. Now, that's never really been an issue. What we've always taught at Dalton, whether it's blocking or tackling, is heads-up. Kind of explain what that's about and what we're teaching.
You know, I go back to the way that I was taught, and you know, we were always taught to do everything with our heads up or our face up. You know, to see what you're doing. You know, and illustrating and talking to our kids as far as tackling, when your head goes down, your arms become a lot shorter.
Right.
And it's really difficult to make. But I want to say that probably ESPN has been a big factor in that because they want to show those big hits. Mm-hmm. And everybody wants that highlight hit. And those guys that are making those big hits, a lot of times it's not a tackle. And a lot of times the running back bounces off. So we emphasize, you know, keeping the head up, face up, seeing what you're doing and getting yourself under control. And you know, our motto is just get them on the ground, give us another down. So we're not trying to knock anybody down. We want to take them down. We want to take them to the ground.
Absolutely. Let's talk about a little bit about your guys that you coach. We kind of battle head to head all week during practice, and let's talk about the D-line people a little bit.
I coach our tackles, and then Coach Penny coaches our defensive ends, and we've got a lot of production out of our kids this time. We're rotating 4 guys or 5 guys now on the defensive line, and anywhere from 3 to 4 defensive ends. We're seeing teams with the spread offense now. You know, they want to get 90 snaps a game, mm-hmm. and you know, we've got to have depth and develop depth, and so our goal is to have 8 kids that we can play with, and we've got that this year, and they've done a really good job.
We've seen some big offensive lines. I mean, you look at Sequoia, Harrison, Creekview, Sprayberry down the line's big. These guys, South Cobb this week, big offensive lines. Talk about the size. I mean, it seems like except for our offensive line, it seems like an extraordinary year for big offensive lines in our region.
Everybody that we matched up with has been big. and you know, we don't even have those kids walking the halls.
Right.
So it must be something in the water in that Atlanta area, Cobb County area, because our kids are not growing that big. But they're big, athletic. When we played Creekview, both their tackles are Division I, you know, prospects or Division I signees. One he committed to Clemson, and the other one I think committed to UConn that week. So we're seeing a lot of talent. And it's just, it goes in cycles. You know, some years you'll have a stretch where, you know, everybody's got big offensive linemen, and then, you know, you'll have a couple years where they're more average size. But we ran into some big ones.
Creates a challenge for your guys when they get tangled up with one of those big monsters, right?
We have to be on the move a lot. We do a lot of slanting, and we do not a lot of twists, but we twist our front to take advantage of our speed.
Very good. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate everything you do on and off the field and everywhere else.
Thank you, Eric.
Stay right here. Back with more Catamount football in just a minute.
We're back with Sandy, and on the outside, everything is beautiful, but on the inside, it's a mess. You're not fooling me. In our audience today, I have professionals from Carpet Express, Susie and Clay. They've helped thousands of others just like you with their problems on the inside. Will you accept their help today?
Yes. Yes, I do.
If you need help on the inside, call Carpet Express, because it's what's on the inside that counts.
My name is Kelsey Harmon, and this is the Chick-fil-A Cow, and Chick-fil-A Dalton is excited to announce that we will be teaming up with the Dalton High Quarterback Club again this season. We will be providing fans with the awesome tailgate experience starting at 5:30. Be sure to be here by 6 o'clock for the catwalk and visit our tent for dinner before the game. As always, Chick-fil-A reminds you to eat more chicken and go Big Red.
Oh, who's this old guy?
Oh, that's Cooper. Most people like to adopt the younger dogs, but one day your time will come, huh, Cooper?
Sweetheart, what about this puppy?
Honey puppies. Mommy, Daddy, that's it, that's the one.
The Coldwell Banker Homes for Dogs project has helped find homes for thousands of shelter dogs.
How's your tea?
Because our agents don't just understand real estate, they understand what home is all about.
All right, there's our captains coming out down at River Ridge, and they got themselves a brand new field.
All of Cobb County and all of Cherokee County now has fields. And it was really nice playing on a surface that it had rained all week long, literally all week long. And then you get down there and the surface is dry.
Yeah,
and I know you don't like, and I don't like it. You know I like grass. We both like the natural grass field. But the reality is, great tackle here, Jaxon Elkins, one of our seniors, Kayla Hernandez, one of our sophomores, and Justin Ketchum. Funny thing right there, just kind of shows where we're at, sophomores and seniors. Good play here by our defense, Jack Ridley right there, being in there and holding him up on a long play, long third down. Wind up forcing them into a punt, and he shanks one.
You know, I think the returns that we had early in the first couple of games are really affecting teams on the kicking game. They are doing things that maybe they wouldn't try to do normally because they do not want number one or number two to field the football.
That's exactly right, and it's a change of the game.
Just a little speed sweep here with Jameer. There's Tyus doing a good job blocking out there, and
I like the way he's protecting the ball.
I was going to say, hanging on the football.
Absolutely,
protecting the ball.
It's a pretty stadium.
It is. Come back, and there's Jameer just doing his thing. I mean, we give him a little. You give him. I tell the guys all the time, look, just get him past the line of scrimmage.
That's right.
We can get him past the line of scrimmage. There's no telling where it may go for a touchdown. And
that's right.
There's Manny doing a good job. Number 73, right tackle
Brant
for us.
Downfield.
Yep.
I know you like seeing those guys at that second and third level.
That's right. Come back, and here he comes. Yeah, good job by Yendry there blocking downfield. That was really the difference in that being a gain to the 3 or 4 yard line and it being a touchdown. Nice job by
Saul. Yeah, pancake there. That's the first time I've seen that.
Pancake that nose man.
That view's a little better than our view.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Absolutely. Extra point. Good snap, kick, and hold. And there's a shot from Troy, a little sideline guy that weasels his way around on the sideline during
Everybody on the sideline is a small guy to you, Bill. All right, the other night, 7 kickoffs, and 5 of our 7 were touchbacks. So.
Here we are. We're playing a little bingo on the sidelines.
I'm about to say, what are y'all playing right there? Angry Birds?
Hangman.
Good job right here by our defense. Malachi Gregory, I'm still just so impressed with him. He continues to get better and better each game.
There's a look at that funkadelic offense that they run.
That's right.
It is definitely on you, but they can get a lot of people headed one direction.
They can. Now. That's exactly right. And that's kind of what the name of the game is. Try to get as many guys heading in one direction as possible. So they tied up 7-7. Starting the second quarter.
And address real quick. You got just a second. We've had teams kick the ball out of bounds on us a couple times this year.
Yeah.
Unlike normal, we elect to re-kick.
That's exactly right. Well, we want to force teams, to your point earlier, we want to force teams to have to kick to that guy.
Right.
Number 1 and number 2
right.
can do with the ball in one play what it takes you and I 2 weeks to draw up on a script because they have that ability.
Just a little zone play, and Josh Moore gets a nice block on the linebacker, and that springs Jameer for an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that's a great job.
They're dangerous.
Absolutely.
Jameer and Ty's from really anywhere.
Well, I think back to the point, we'll be brief, but the real point is this right here. If you kick the ball out of bounds, you get to 35. Well, if they're kicking it out of bounds, they're not even kicking it to the 35 half the time. So they kick it, they're going to kick it to the 15 or the 20. Great play right there by A.J. Hernandez, a sophomore that's had to step into action. Well, we're going to get the ball beyond the 35, so we don't want to give up field position. So, we're going to always force teams to do that. Great job right here. Our inside guys, John Ross right here, good job. Forced him right here. You see on the, I believe that right there was Jack Ridley coming off the side, Ryan LaRue. Another guy, Leo Garcia, stepping in, and right here you see it from a different angle. I go back to Woodland. Woodland was the last team that kind of ran something similar to this.
Hide the ball type
That's
offense.
right. And if you do it, you're good at it, and it causes so many problems for you. Great view of our cheerleaders here who always do a fabulous job on Friday nights for us.
Back on offense, and Landon back there. Got some decent time.
Yep.
Rolling out. And
this is just athlete on athlete.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's Eight was one of their better athletes, and certainly
kind of threw it up to Jameer here.
Yeah, it is, and you kind of say, I mean, we definitely don't want him throwing back across his body, but we don't mind him getting the ball down the field right there. If you put it in this situation, good job by the receivers of working back to him and getting in there.
There's a bullet to Jamal Macon. I mean, that is a dart that he just threw.
Good catch right there by Jamal. Good to have him back this week.
Good protection and good throw and catch.
Yeah, good job holding on the ball with the imminent hit coming.
Get the ball down about the 6, and here comes Jarek. Gets it.
He is a fast
little
dude.
Yes, he is. He's waiting to see the call. Got a touchdown.
Do I get to celebrate or do I not get to celebrate? Love to see the excitement there. Good job seeing those guys work together. Bill I think this is a great opportunity. This is probably one of the best team weeks I think we've had.
Yes.
Team weeks from the way we worked in practice to the way that we played the other night. I mean, the guys were really playing for each other. I mean, would you agree with that?
100%. They were really excited about being out there, and I think the momentum as the game went on with the opportunity to get back on the right track winning-wise.
That's right.
There's 1 and 2.
That's right.
Standing together.
Good job right here, on a key third down right there. Austin Hackney coming in, breaking it up. We played a lot of guys the other night, and right here, just a weird play right there happened. He tried to throw the ball, and it gets knocked down, and the guy intercepts it kind of off of the rebound. Good job here from the backside. Austin Hackney, a little corner blitz. We played a lot of guys in our defensive line the other night. We played a 5-man front most of the night. We don't even have really that many defensive linemen, so I think they were recycling some guys and making some bigger linebackers have to come up and play.
There's a good example of carrying out their fake. Everybody going one way and then coming back the other, and they get a touchdown on it.
Yeah, tough play. And then right here, Austin Hackney, a guy, a senior that's got some speed, comes off the corner and makes the block. Bill, it's just something to talk about while we're sitting here. Talk a little bit about right there. We were looking at the center's hand, how he was holding the ball with a point up, as opposed to the old spiral.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
what's the philosophy?
Jeff Saturday was one of the guys in the NFL that did that quite a bit. It's supposed to be give them more of a dead snap. They don't want the spin on it. They just want it to come back almost just kind of no rotation, just a dead ball back to the quarterback. And that's been kind of the idea of it. We fooled around with it. One time. It was a good surge by the line of scrimmage, good running by Jameer.
Yeah, I thought the offense it did a good job. You know, with those 3 inside guys, they did a good job of working together and working with their combos the other night.
Yeah, they did, and they had some. They weren't real big on the defensive line, but they were quick.
They were.
They gave us some problems here and there.
Good job here. Lane Cox plays he's another guy that has stepped up and had to play for us. And you see right here running sideline to sideline. Great big hit right there by Austin. He comes up, makes a hit. Jack Ridley outside. Good to see those guys getting in the action. You see Mac Montoya.
That's setting the edge right there.
That is setting the edge. That's exactly right.
If you want a definition of setting the edge,
and doing it with one of our smaller guys.
Yep. That is it.
Jaxon Wells the other night. First opportunity to get in the game really substantially as a starter, and just did a good job listening to coaches talk about it. Just a lot of effort there on that play. And right here, Jack Ridley, another guy that's always around the ball somewhere, somehow.
Come back.
Now this ball was on the. You remember this ball was on the 3.
Yes.
And we moved it out. So that you talked a little bit about that last week.
Yeah, that's important always. Of course, it leads to a big touchdown throw here to Yendry, but just getting the ball out, even getting a couple of first downs with our punter, if we can flip the field position. But obviously this is even better.
Yeah, and sometimes though, and you know this as a play caller, sometimes you see a great job right there stepping up into the pocket and taking a hit. Good job by Yendry getting right there behind him. But sometimes that's one of the best places to throw is when you're backed up because they're playing you a little bit tighter. They don't think you're going to. That's why you see people a lot of times throwing in the end zone or out of the end zone, depending on where the ball's at.
And they're loading up to stop. It's tough to run it out of there. So we go in at halftime, up 28-13. There's the Steve Sparks honorary concession stand.
Honorary concession stand, that's right.
Hi, I'm Dr. Reginald Sherrill. Are you tired of sweaty underarms and dealing with deodorant stains on your clothes? We're performing a procedure called Mirror Dry. It's safe, non-invasive, sweat and odor-free, deodorant-free. It is clinically proven and FDA approved. I've had the procedure and it really works. The procedure takes about 1 hour, it's local anesthesia, and works immediately. Call our office, Dalton Plastic Surgery, 706-226-3311. 706-226-3311.
All right, we're back for the second half and went in and had some Gatorade and some water and talked about what we're going to do at the second half. There's
Unless
Ozzie.
you're Coach Martinez, and he had
a hot dog.
Yeah, a little squib punt, right? A little squib kick. Another one. Once again, right here, Tice just does a good job of getting back into the wedge, which is in the middle of the field, picking up what he can.
Come back, nice little slant there to Bryce. Getting him in the action.
Yeah, Bryce has really turned into a great possession receiver for you. Got good hands, runs good solid routes, provides opportunity to get you the ball out on the perimeter.
Good job by Jameer.
Good kick out right there.
Yep, good kick by Brant. Good job of stepping up in the pocket, and here he goes. The giraffe,
baby,
for a touchdown. I like it. He is fast.
When he first looked at coming in, one of the things that we talked about was his ability to run. And, of course, we'd seen him run as a freshman. Missed most of last year with a broken ankle. But this is just the way he recollected it when he was talking to you. Yendry runs a slant and kind of pulls the defense over, and it's very perceptive by him. He looked and didn't see. That's one thing we talk about. You don't get, if you don't like what you got, just tuck it and run it. Absolutely. Get the ball, get out of bounds, and a great job of just getting on that sideline and having good speed.
And there's a lot of people congratulating him on the sidelines.
Yeah, someone's coming up with an oxygen here in a minute, aren't they? Just
Coach Martinez. Jameer looking at him like.
That's right. That's awesome. Awesome. Great job. Great job. So come back defensively, trying to run that waggle now to the front side as opposed to the back side. And they got us beat again, but Caleb Hernandez, who's had to now step in with Mauricio Quintero that we've lost to an ACL, a great job of him coming up and making that play. And then right here, Malachi coming in and Jaxon Wells making a solid play right there on a backdoor screen. You'll see it right here. He just kind of floats away and beats his blocker. Good job. Good hustle by Nicky Lama as well, getting back there.
Come back on offense and give it to Jameer again. He just takes it right up the middle. Pretty good blocking the line of scrimmage, and then he's off. Good hustle by Tyus right there. Just getting the guy's way.
Absolutely.
Just keeping him from doesn't have to hit him, just kind of getting his way.
Great view right here. Yep. Troy's camera. This is, guys, watch this earlier right here. Watch this move right there. And then you just see him begin to pull away right here. Good job of Yendry Cruz getting down there. Great. Yendry had a great game the other night. Bryce had a great game. Those guys had a lot of efforts. We challenged those guys individually and just did an outstanding job. Good job our extra point team, field goal team blocking this week, although we did have one block later on.
So 42-13.
Yeah, great job right there. Kind of thought we had that, but obviously you can see we didn't. Jack Ridley coming off that backside, just a great job right there.
I think the official is telling John Ross to go get the ball.
Yeah.
I guess it's too far for him to go.
Yeah, yeah. He's kind of go there and get that. I'm not going to go over there and get that. You go get that.
I might have to walk a few extra steps. Oh, and here we go again. Now he's gotten the bugaboo.
Oh, yeah.
Good job on reading
the well.
That's right. Good job on reading the zone read, though, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do.
And this right here was a great job right here. They audibleized at the line of scrimmage. We had another route called. And Bryce, being a quarterback, it's one of the great things about having one of your wide receivers be your quarterback. He kind of recognized the coverage and sold it and ran the adjustment, and just a great job of those two guys communicating.
And Landon put the ball in a great place, too.
Oh, absolutely.
The only guy that could catch it was Bryce.
That's right.
So that was a really good throw right there.
Absolutely.
So 49-13. And
number 9 was probably one of the fastest guys we will see.
Didn't they say he's a freshman?
Yeah, he's a freshman. He's going to be a very, very good player for them. But he is quick, and you can tell his size. He don't have a lot of size, but he is quick as a cat. Yeah, great job right there by Jackson Elkins, and a great job right there by Alexis Magana coming up. Like to see those guys working together like that. Another good job right here, Justin Ketchum forcing upfield right there. Leo Torres right there, 78. You see him getting in on the play, working around, getting held right there, getting off of the play. And, of course, Tyson Swope just playing remarkably consistent for us right now.
Back on offense. We got still a lot of first-team guys, but we're starting to get some other guys in the game. And there goes Josh Moore. We got Nathaniel at left tackle. Hunter Brown, who'd been sick, came in and was playing some guard. He missed a couple days of practice. And there's Amari Vasquez in there at right tackle.
Yeah, Bill, talk a little bit about, and I think this is kind of something important, kind of what our philosophy is when it comes to, I don't know many coaches that are fans of the running clock. I mean, even the guys that are getting beat.
It's awful.
But kind of what our strategy is as far as keeping guys in up to a fourth quarter. And, of course, now you're still seeing some starters. Why are we
want to start mixing them in. One reason is to get a little continuity. If you get an injury, the first guys that you're going to put in are going to be your rotators or your first-line subs. And so you want them to play with some of the guys that are playing on Friday night. So if you have an injury, there's some continuity. And then you can start. Now we're in the point with the running clock, and now we've got our JV offense in there. And these guys, the unfortunate thing is they got 4 snaps.
Yeah, that's wrong.
It's
hard. You can't
they practice
get better
hard.
at that.
They work hard. The running clock just evaporates.
Yeah.
You don't get time to play. So.
Well, good luck to River Ridge, to Coach Wynn. Hope they have the remainder of their season safe and good.
Home is a place where all are welcome. It's where the story begins. It's not a place, it's a feeling. Home is where the heart is. At Furniture of Dalton, we handpick each of our 150 brands so that you can find your perfect heart's desire. Come see what you've been missing at Carpets of Dalton and Furniture of Dalton, the destination that brings you home. Exit 328 off I-75.
It's football time again in Northwest Georgia. Not a lot has changed at the Oakwood Cafe since we filmed last season. We are still serving the same fantastic food we have for the past 13 years. Our staff is many of the familiar faces you consider family. Our catering department is the best in North Georgia, serving over 400 people daily. We love this community, and we wake up 6 days a week looking forward to serving you your favorite Oakwood Cafe meal with a smile. Oakwood Cafe in historic downtown Dalton.
Buy from the pros who know at Proformance Sports Academy. Our pro shop has one of the largest selections of bats, gloves, and cleats in the North Georgia area, featuring Rawlings, Wilson, Louisville Slugger, DeMarini, Mizuno, and the largest New Balance cleat dealer in the area. We provide baseball and softball gear for travel leagues, rec leagues, middle school, and high school programs. Get your baseball and softball training, equipment, and uniforms from the former collegiate and professional players who know at Proformance Sports Academy. ProformanceSportsAcademy.com.
Hi, my name is Charles R. Hicks Sr. I'm the owner of Transformers Transmission and Complete Auto Repair Specialist. We have some exciting news. We are expanding to Sugar Road.
That's right, brother. We are building a brand new 30,000 square foot automotive repair facility to better serve our community.
Also want to let you know that we are still open at 815 East Walnut Avenue for all your automotive needs. From the Transformers crew,
thank you and God bless.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about the South Cobb Eagles, orange and blue. Kind of remind me of Auburn a little bit out there on the field running around.
A little bit, yeah, sure, we can do that.
So certainly have some good athletes, and you know, we've played them, I guess, the last couple of years, but seeing these guys on film today, they've got some good athletes.
They do. They've got very good athletes, and actually they've got some of the statistical leaders in our region. The quarterback is really a pretty phenomenal guy. He can run the ball well, thrown for almost 1,000 yards, and plays a lot of, just plays the game the way you want to play, fearlessly.
And they like power football too, right? They like to run the counter and the power.
Absolutely.
And they run it from, we've seen them on offense a couple times. I like how they do some unique things. They'll bring two H-backs in and run it with them, or they'll run their center and their guard. They have a lot of variations of that play.
They are probably, I would equate, they're probably the team that's most like us from a running game standpoint out of the spread. Now, obviously, Creekview does it and Harrison does it, but as far as, like you said, using the gap schemes, the counters, the things like that, certainly we're very similar. So this week, working against each other, we can kind of work against ourselves to give ourselves probably the best picture that we could get for Friday night. Lots of athletes on defense. Defensively speaking, golly, man, you know, not quite what they had in size last year, but certainly in the secondary, you see length, you see good speed. Linebackers, you got guys that can run sideline to sideline, and then in the defensive line, they're just going to be big and physical.
They are, and they've made a little change. Last year, they were a four-man front. This year, they're still a four-man front, but they had two. Last year, they had two almost like college defensive ends. I called them. Now they've got a couple guys that are a little smaller, but they play them standing up.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different technique now for our tackles.
How does that? I was going to say, how does that affect the tackles? And not even the tackles. Guards, because we pull our guards enough too. They're already up. How does that affect?
When you got that guy standing up, they've got to be more under control coming off the football. When the guy's got his hand in the ground and he's playing a hard technique, they can really run off the ball and attack him. When he's standing up and is going to play more with his hands and may skate backwards or sideways, they've got to be under control. And so it's going to be a challenge for our two tackles this week to play with those guys and stay under control and don't want to see him out there missing and the guy running around him.
From a defensive perspective, what is the advantage of that defensive player being able to do it? Is it for the pass rush?
It's got to be quickness.
Is that what as an offensive lineman, what do you see as the perspective advantage of that?
You see it they've got to be trying to take advantage of their ability to move and that they can play faster on 2 feet than they can with their hand in the ground. That's really the only advantage I can think of. And you look at what those two guys looked like last year. They were big and long and big bodies. These guys, aren't nearly as heavy and don't have as much weight as the two guys last year. So I think they're trying to take advantage of that.
You see it on Saturdays. You certainly see it on Sundays.
Yep.
You see guys like Khalid Mack and guys like that, and certainly we don't want to see him Friday night. But you do see how those guys change the angles of getting back to the. I know that's one thing that we have seen a lot of going back last year to Douglas County. Those ends would get so wide, and it put just so much pressure on our tackles having to get upfield, to having to get back to protect the quarterback. And those guys can change on a dime.
Yep, especially with high school linemen.
It's really putting you on the island.
Aren't as agile. How about the kicking game?
Kicking game is solid. It's not what I would certainly say is one of the better parts of their game, but it is solid. It's much more improved from last year. I think the big challenge for us is we'll be playing 2 years in a row down there, and that's almost in Austell. So you figure up Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock traffic, going north and going into Atlanta.
We're leaving on Tuesday, is that right?
Yeah, Tuesday right after practice. So, it's one of those deals where you just have to, you got to kind of coordinate. The big worry I have more than the drive is we're off Friday.
Fall break.
And man, coaches, we do not like schedule changes. We don't like day changes, and so we'll have to do some things differently on Friday, and we can talk about that later in the show. How Friday will look in order to have those guys ready to play at 7:29.
All right, very good. Let's take a break. We'll be back after these messages from our sponsors. All right, Coach, we've come to the end of the show, but let's talk a little bit before we wrap up here. Something we were talking about earlier in the show, the quality of the athletes in our region. I mean, even though a team might not have a great record, some of these guys, I mean, they've got players that
they're supermodels.
Yeah, I mean, they're really good.
I'm not understating that, am I, Bill?
No, not at all.
I mean, we literally will pull up at some of these places and go, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, they've got 1, 2, or they've got 3,
or they've got 4 or 5,
or 5,
half a dozen.
Yeah, I think of a story. Gary Varner, and I won't tell the whole story. I'll just tell part of the story. When we go down and play Altoona, the second year that I was a head coach, 2010, 2011, and Coach Varner was like, "Yeah, we got some of these guys that they bust over from Osborne, they redistrict. We got them at the beginning of the season, and they got shifted. We're trying to get them fixed, kind of get them adjusted in the team." And you kind of look over there and you're going, "Wait a minute, that guy's going to North Carolina. That guy's going to Virginia Tech.
Defensive line.
Their whole defense, yeah." And so that's just, that's transient. And you just think about when you've got 1.5 million people or whatever it is within 15 minutes of a school. That's just a lot of people. And I think, when you're up here in Northwest Georgia, and, here we are. I mean, we're literally sitting in a facility where we've got, I guess it's 7 high schools within 15 minutes, just including Calhoun, Gordon County, Sonoraville, Murray County, North Murray, our local schools here within the county. So whatever that number works out to be. And you think about, and this is in no way a negative, but you just think about all the athletes that we see here. And then we go down there, and you'll see what would have been an all-star team from up here. And you're seeing it week after week after week after week.
And it's sport after sport after sport. And they don't.
That's a great point.
And they don't. The football players don't play basketball. The basketball players don't play baseball.
That's exactly
They're all playing their individual sports.
Well, Altoona last year, a prime example. Altoona, who competed there for the region, won it in basketball, won it in baseball. I mean, you go down there, and they do not have one single kid on their basketball team that plays on the football team, nor vice versa. But yet, you've got 5 or 6 D1 kids on football, and you had 2 or 3 on basketball. Yep. You're talking 60% of your what you're putting on the floor. So it's amazing to see. But I think the point that's more relevant here is you may be playing a team that is 1-6, or you may be playing a team that's 3-3 or whatever it might be. You can't play against a record, because that team may have 1 guy or 2 guys that's better than anything you've got, and has the ability. I know we always want to say that, nobody wins a game on their own in football. Well, that's true, but I've seen some runs, I've seen some throws, I've seen some passes where it only takes 1 guy, and he beats your best guy, and now it's 7-0, and you're a better team. I mean, South Georgia is kind of infamous for that. They'll say, okay, you got 11 guys, you got 11 guys, there's 22 guys on the field, but it's not going to be it's not going to be 11 versus 11. We're going to neutralize 16 guys and put our best 3 on your best 3, and that's how we play the game. And I think back to Thomas County Central back in the 90s when they would come up. We were much better teams, but they had the 3 best athletes on the field. And so now in 6A, we're literally, you see that week after week after week, and that's why my credit to you guys as coaches, credit to you, to our players, that the fact that it's thinking about this game differently. You have to prepare every week like you're playing the best team in the region, and that's daunting at times. It's very daunting at times.
You mentioned earlier fall break coming this week.
Yeah.
So we've got a game on Friday. The kids are off on Friday.
That's
Talk about dealing with fall break, kind of the schedule.
We're not big fans of that. Right. So what we'll do is we'll get them up at 7, go through we have a game day workout which Coach Thompson, Coach Cole has put together from some various colleges that we've looked at, and we've kind of modified it over the years. Got it to where it fits good with our guys, and so we'll do that on Friday, get them up at 7, and then we'll feed them breakfast after that, have some meetings, and then we as teachers have, it's a professional learning day, so we'll have to engage in that up till lunch. At lunch, we'll bring the kids back, and we'll kind of begin to engage them at that point, and we'll get them ready. We'll do some things where we'll take them and show them a movie or whatever it might be, have a walkthrough, and then 2:30, because we're not playing here, 2:30 pregame meal, devotion, 3 o'clock we're on the buses, and hopefully we're pulling into the stadium before 5:15, because the closer we get to 6, the more nervous I get. So hopefully we'll leave in plenty of time to get down there.
Before we wrap up, real quick, want to bring a friend, right? Bring a friend to the game. We want a good crowd down there. We want to be well represented in Cobb County. So come on down to the game Friday night. Want everybody out there.
Absolutely, it's a part of Atlanta, and you can circumvent, go around the Atlanta traffic that way. It's actually a good drive in, good drive out, and like I said, it'll be a great game.
Absolutely. We'll be back next week, same cat time, same cat channel.
Go Big Red.